In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 reasons of why I left my investment banking job to become a entrepreneur / content creator. And just overall, if that's something you should do if you're considering the same. So for those who don't know, my name is Andrew. And in January 2021, I left my investment banking job in San Francisco, cold turkey, to basically start creating content on TikTok and to start a e-commerce business. And in future videos, I'm going to talk more into like what I'm up to now. But for this specific video, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the reasons why I quit and the reasons that you should quit as well if you're thinking of doing the same thing. Reason number 1, I never went to banking for the right reasons. I went into banking because I thought the job would be very prestigious. It'll bring me a lot of accolades from my friends and families, my peers, because obviously the job is highly regarded as one of the, the best jobs you can do after college. It pays very well, great exit opportunities, great career mobility. And overall, I think Hollywood did a really good job of just like hyping up this job of finance and investment banking, right? And I think a lot of this, chasing prestige and accolades came from my own personal insecurities of, I was never the smartest kid in elementary school. I felt like I didn't get into the best college that I probably should have gotten into. So getting into investment banking was in a way, an outlet for me to prove to people around me that I am great, I am worthy, I am smart, and look at me, I can box with these guys that went to the Ivy Leagues. Which, to be honest, complete fucking bullshit. Honestly, in investment banking, there's so many public school kids in investment banking. Most Ivy League kids don't even go to banking nowadays, so I don't even know. Go Tritons. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is eventually you'll realize that the prestige doesn't really mean a lot to you anymore after 6 months into a job, because it wears off, and you're not even gonna get a chance to talk about your job that much because you're spending most of your weekend working anyways. And if you're like me, you're working during COVID, so can I still say COVID? But yeah, you're working during COVID, so you weren't even seeing anyone. So just literally you at home working the job 12, 15 hours a day, and that's all you're doing. And not to mention that once you enter banking as well, all your friends and peers and colleagues are bankers. So it just becomes a competition of that's the world, that's who you surround around. So, all of a sudden your job isn't that fancy or special anymore, right? You're then now competing with other people of who works at a better bank, who makes more money, who's going to private equity, what's private equity firm are you going to? So kind of the journey just starts over again, and it just becomes a game of comparison once again. So the game never ends, basically, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And just to add on another reason number 1 was that I realized, I didn't want to become my senior managers, right? My managing directors, because there were certain MDs that I was just wow, you really like this job and I do not connect with you at all. I'm just oh yeah, I'm definitely not gonna like this job then, because I don't love it like they do, Reason number 2, there are a lot of BS happening in the job of investment banking, a lot of BS. There was a lot of work that needed to get done that frankly a lot of times were just completely unnecessary, PowerPoint pitch decks that you spend 20, 30, 40 weeks putting together that the client isn't even going to look at 90% of the deck. And also a lot of times what I realized when I was working in banking that we had to work to 4 a.m. or even sometimes pull all-nighters. A lot of those situations were highly avoidable if people at the higher levels just did a better job of managing their time and delegating the task. I feel a lot of times that I pull all-nighters was more from the mismanagement of my managing directors rather than there was just so much work that had to get done. Now, I'm going to add a quick disclaimer here that all in all, this is a journey to the top in investment banking, right? If you want to get a top in investment banking or private equity, you have to go through this BS. There's no way around it. It's part of the journey, it's part of the job, it's part of the grind, right? Which is why the rewards at the top of investment banking in terms of pay and the things you get up there of more ownership over your work and your clients are so great, is because you go through these years of grinding and just almost abuse in a way. And all in all, because if you think about it, even though the client isn't going to see 9% of your pitch deck, the cases that they happen to flip to that one page, you want to make sure that every single page in the deck is nicely formatted and looks perfect. So it's all about minimizing that risk of just in case they flip to it, right? Which makes sense, don't get me wrong. And managing directors, end of the day, they're humans as well. They make mistakes, they mismanage their time. So I can't really blame them for that, but it's just if this is something that you want to go through in order to make your way and journey to like the top of like the finance industry. And for me, this wasn't something I was willing to go through. I think I have a very short temper for BS, and I just don't really enjoy doing things that I don't believe in, I don't think I need to do, or, you know, I guess in general, I don't like being told what to do as well. But I don't mind working a lot. If anything, I actually enjoy working. So my thought process as I was leaving a job was, if I'm going to work 8 hours a week anyways, I might as well work for myself than work for someone else. All right, reason number 3, and I think, you know, after the past 2 years, this is the biggest reason of why I left investment banking. And the reason was just, I wanted to do something else at this point in my life. You know, when I was in college, my goal was to get into investment banking. I did it for a year and a half. But after a year and a half, I realized, you know, I never had intentions to go to the buy side. I never want to go to private equity. I never want to go into like, you know, hedge funds. I might go into VC one day, but, you know, it was something that was never really on my career map, roadmap, that I want to pursue a long-term career in finance. What I always wanted to be was to become a content creator and a business owner. So, you know, after doing my investment banking years, I realized that the next step in my life is this is the thing that I want to do, which I know I had to do at that age, because, you know, the age that I quit was when I was 24, because I knew that by the time I hit 30, I don't think I'm going to be wanting to quit like a very nice cushiony job anymore, just because, you know, I don't know, like you have kids or whatever, family at that time to take care of. But I knew that if I wanted to quit this, you know, very cushiony finance job to go pursue something so high risk, like being an entrepreneur, I need to do this at a young age where I can have, where I can take more risks, where I could, you know, move back home with my parents and live there for a couple years, right? Because I don't think this will be something I'll be able to do when I'm over 30. You know, age is just a number, but, you know, like it is something that we do consider as well as we go through life, right? So my recommendation for anyone out there that is considering quitting their job, whether it's investment banking, consulting, or anything else out there, if you're young and you're not in a complete financially, you know, I guess, dire situation, I recommend it, right? Because you can't take this risk and you can always go back to get a job anyways. You can always go back. But what you can't get back is time. You can't get back time. If you're over 27, 28, I understand your situation is a little bit different. But if you're young and you can't take that financial risk, I would recommend it just to, like, if anything, just to check off your list and be like, been there, done that, don't need to do it anymore. Anyways, these are the 3 main reasons of why I left investment banking. I hope if anyone out there is watching this video to the end, I hope this was helpful to you. I'm just going to end us off with just 3 reasons of why you should not quit, specifically to become an entrepreneur, just because I feel like this should be said. So I wouldn't quit if you think you'll make more money on your own, because the matter of fact is, like, unless you're in that very, very lucky 1%, you probably won't for the first couple years. So quitting for money is not a good decision. Like, I'm currently 2 years out of quitting investment banking, and I'm barely just getting back to like the monetization of where I was when I was working in investment banking. So yeah, I wouldn't quit if your goal is to make more money, like right off the bat at least. Number 2, I wouldn't quit if you want to reduce stress in your life. You're going to be more stressed out, for lack of a better word, because now not only do you have work stress, you probably also have financial stress as well. Number 3, if you want to stay in career in finance, but you just currently hate your life, I wouldn't quit as well. Either switch over to a different team, different company, different job. But if you want to be a career banker, whether it's investment banking and private equity, you know, like, just there's no hurt in switching over. I know it sucks. I know it's miserable working in banking sometimes, but if your goal in life is to become a career banker, but you just hate your life right now, either, I don't know, stick it through, or just find a different team or different position that either has better work-life balance or has more individuals that you want to be working with. Anyways, that is all for today. As per usual, my name is Andrew. On this account, I talk about, you know, my journey from quitting investment banking to start my own business, and also as a content creator. So if that's something that sounds very interesting to you, be sure to follow along, as I'll be making a lot more videos this year. Talk to you guys all soon. Bye.